welcome back to the fourth quarter of the Bobby Dupre Show, along with Andrew here. And do we have any more sponsors? We got all the sponsors.
I took care of them.
Took care of all of them.
I want to give you time to be Bobby Dupre the last quarter. You can freelance.
There you go. A couple more deaths we want to mention here. A person that apparently was well known in the particularly in the musical musical bands and all. Mm-hmm. He participated in various ways. He had schools where he taught guitar lessons and you name it, and he's had a part. And of course, our tech that tapes the program did a feature for the family on his recent death. And I'm speaking of Al Bayrod. And he's from the Cecilia area, and just apparently a well-known fella. In fact, while Kenny Morrow was over in Mamou having a little pork steak sandwich with me, he talked about Al and how fine a fella he was, and of course Steve brought us up to speed on several things.
He played in the Basin Brothers for years and quite a few other local bands.
And I can't say that I knew him personally, but he left a real strong image behind. And an unfortunate death occurred last week, must have been Thursday or Friday, maybe even Wednesday.
I think it was Thursday.
And a 5-year-old was shot, and there were different stories out at first of what happened, drive-by shooting and different things, but it ended up it's an accident. It's accidental, whether it's the boy himself that was playing with the pistol, or his brother was with him, or in the same area in the yard. They were all playing, and we're not going to get into the details of it. That's not the point that I want to make now. Is that the family, of course, all of a sudden they faced with considerable expenses, burial expenses, and they've set up a fund that is being asked to contact you. I'm sure you could, what does it say here? I don't know where, but I'm sure you could call City Hall, call the chief of police office, and they could give you. And certainly the family was caught completely off guard. They were playing in their own yard after school, so it wasn't that he was, running around on the street or doing something, out of the ordinary. It was something that he did, I guess, wait until his mom and daddy came back from work. I don't know. Maybe one of the parents was home. I didn't read all the papers, but it's a sad way to learn that your 5-year-old is dead. And of course, there was some good story about this young pitcher that ended up at UL, and I'm talking about Carson Baronick. And Carson from North Louisiana, and he dreamed of the day that he'd be pitching for the LSU Tigers. And that dream came true for him for a period of time. But he made a mistake, and there's a real good follow-up article, and I guess that was in the Sunday newspaper, the Advocate issue of the Acadiana area that they now produce for the Advocate. And he messed up one night. He got caught for drunk driving, and he knew he was in trouble with the coaching staff at that moment. He knows the rules and regulations. One little mistake, didn't get in an accident or anything, just got stopped, I think, for a minor violation, and then one thing led to another.
And the competition is fierce at that level. They got 10 guys behind you.
And they knew he was good, but they have rules that, and he knew what the rules were, and he didn't hold it. He volunteered to leave the campus and joined up with a Florida junior college team and had a good year. And Coach Tony Robichaud with UL was tipped off by friends about this young pitcher's abilities. And sure enough, he's having a real good start here with the Cajun team at Lafayette. So it's a good touching story, and it's a good story for you to let your own children read it. and see what can happen to your life just like that. And so anyhow, good luck to them, and I tip my hat, Coach Maneri with the LSU team is keeping up with his, his future as he goes along, because he knew he was a good pitcher, but he knew he had to do what was done, and he's happy to see him doing a good job for the Cajuns.
There you go.
And Harvick wins that. Remember, I was talking about Junior Earnhardt winning the race over at Daytona 500 last week. Well, Kevin Harvick won the race over in Arizona this weekend. Of course, who ran second? Dale Earnhardt Jr. So
he must have found the trick. You know, that whole racing thing is not just about how good of a driver you are, because everybody's a good driver at that level. It's the little tweaks. Is did you do the tires just right? Did you do the suspension right?
Yeah,
did you tune the engine just
look
right?
at who some of his teammates are. His teammates are Jimmy Johnson, who's won 5 of these championships, and just a real tremendous individual, and they're working hand in hand to help
trying to get the whole
Dale
team to
Jr.
win, for sure.
The whole team. And Jeff Gordon, of course, is another team member, and he's
been pretty successful himself.
Very successful himself. So it's going to be interesting to see. The chase is on, and tough competition. United Way had a day of literacy. And literacy, of course, is reading ability, reading and comprehension of what you're reading. And United Way was given a nice donation of books, as I see them here, by our St. Landry Parish District Attorney, Earl Taylor, stopped by the St. Landry Evangeline United Way office, and he was greeted by Ms. Ginger LeCount, who is the United Way Director, and Susan Fisher, she's Special Projects Director. And of course, Susie Peck is with the Victims Advocacy with the District Attorney's Office. And of course, we know Susie very well. She's been a big help to our Santa breakfast every year. And she had the little Santa
the
pins made. Her son actually
he did the artwork,
and she had the idea, and we still have a few that we sell in every year. We must be just about out.
And as a victims advocate, the neat thing there is so many times whenever you deal with the police take your statement, and that's kind of it. That, you know, they've got to go out and they got to apprehend and take care of the bad guys. You, as the victim, don't always get that interaction back. You don't necessarily know what's going on. And what Ms. Susie does at the District Attorney's Office is she keeps that contact with the family. She lets you know when those trial dates are coming up associated with the case where you were hurt. And she makes sure that, you know, if you've got to come and testify, if there's
any questions you have,
you can come and ask her questions. Just a tremendous lady.
The Acadiana, the Daily Advertiser is doing a real good, I guess documentary in a newspaper of Acadiana history, and a Confederate soldier is part of the paper's start. William Haley has a special place in the story of the Daily Advertiser. He founded the paper with a group of partners in 1865. So
it's been around a while.
The Advertiser's been around a while, and of course,
I wonder if that family's related to the Bailey Hotel in Bunker.
Yeah, you know,
that'd be interesting to know.
They closed again. I hated to see that.
Buddy, Mr. McCann, that had it down there?
I had offered them $40,000 for the building, and a few days later, I was hoping they wouldn't call, and they didn't. They didn't take my offer, and it stayed on the market a good while, and then
McCann is his name?
Yeah, McCann took it over and remodeled it, and in fact, I stayed there one night, and real nice, and had good music on the weekends. My dear friend, the blues man, who died. Oh man,
we're gonna get it.
Yeah, tip of my tongue.
Simeon.
No,
I'm gonna get it. I'm looking at him, seeing his face.
Oh,
Roscoe Chenier.
Roscoe Chenier.
Got it.
And
took me a second. I knew LeBeau in that area. I had to get it right.
Roscoe played, and every time he played, they had a big crowd.
That's right.
And we kind of...
Roscoe played a birthday party for me 26 years ago. Is it that long? I don't know if it's that long, is it?
I don't believe it's that long.
No, it must be, ooh, man,
Most of the
18.
Mardi Gras, we got that covered pretty well.
You do?
And yes, sir. Well, I think we covered pretty good. Greg Martinez, he's been in the news lately. I didn't realize it, but he lives right outside of Opelousas, on the south of Opelousas.
Creole Soul.
Creole Soul, and he must have, I don't know, he's caught him a second breath here, and
Chased the music hard as a young man, and then now he's got the maturity to go with it.
Full page, well, three-quarter.
I think you and I had a CD for him one time. It was up here. I don't know if you had gone somewhere and got
I
a CD.
had gone somewhere and he was selling. And Jay Leno says that this feels like the right time this time. In other words, he's been retired by
They're retired him
NBC,
twice this
yeah.
time, I guess.
But
He's got all the money he needs.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's a fun-loving guy. I really don't watch that late show very often, but I got to understanding him better. And I guess it's because we have a couple of same hobbies, cars, old vehicles, and motorcycles. And he had a collection of both of those. I'm getting horses. The program almost over.
What I think he should do as an encore to really blow everybody's mind, he should go see CNN. And, they're getting rid of Piers Morgan is the guy's name.
Yeah, they must have somebody picked out.
Well, but if I was them, I'd hire Jay Leno. Who would be better to sit at a desk and interview somebody? That's all he's done the last 20 plus years. And he could interview people on that show in that Larry King style. I think Jay Leno would do a wonderful job. And an audience would follow him. People like Jay Leno. Why not?
Yeah,
And NBC would be mad. That makes CNN happy. They're kind of competitors.
World War II Museum hopes to finish the expansion.
Have you been by there lately? It's unreal, the additional new buildings. I was there.
I went 2 years ago.
But 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was there at the Ogden Museum, Art Museum, right across the street. And you go upstairs there and you look out the window and see all the activity. I mean, that museum was maybe 1/5 the size of what it is today. I mean, it's humongous. I can't imagine what all they're going to put in it, but I know they're going to put more full-size equipment from that era.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful place.
17, that's 3 more years they hope to finish. They generally don't finish these kind of projects on time, but they hope.
The buildings look like they're up. It must take a lot of work inside as well.
Let's see here. What heavily armed? Let's see.
Oh yeah, they got the arm wrestling shows are coming on now.
Yeah, the reality show.
You got one of the big guys, Toulier from Denham Springs. But then there's another guy, I forget his name. Is he a Bertrand, the guy with the biggest arm that wins the championship almost every year? So they got 3 or 4 of those guys that do well.
He's part of the Baton Rouge Roughnecks.
That's right.
Arm wrestling, and arm wrestling is fun to watch, and I better watch my time.
Yep.
And it's prayer book time, and certainly we want to thank all of you for watching the program. And Andrew, I want to thank you.
Well, thank you.
And I want to mention that 1 year ago, on March the 10th, a couple of days from now, a few days from now, Dr. Butch Lazaro, my dear friend, died March 10th, 2013. And my prayer today is, most loving Redeemer, I give you thanks because you love me so much that you have died for me. Grant that I may love you back in the same manner. Thanks for viewing. Thanks for listening. Thank you, Andrew, for assisting.
Thank you.